So this video is going to discuss how you can register events for your organization. It's very important that you get your events registered as soon as possible, just because it can sometimes take a couple of days before they're approved, and if there's any problems that you have to go back in and fix and you want to have time to fix that before your event happens. You also want to make sure that your event gets up as soon as it can so that you can use it as part of your marketing, so that when people are going through NumaLink, they'll see your event. And you also want to make sure that you get it up as soon as possible, because you can't put up any marketing on campus unless it's approved by the Student Activities Office. And we are unable to approve any marketing unless your event is already approved and on NumaLink. So first we're going to go to our organization. In this case, we're going to use the Student Activities Office. And then we're going to go up here to Manage Organization. So once we're on our Manage page, we're going to go right over here to our menu. And we're going to scroll down to Events. And so currently we don't have any events on here. We can go back and look at canceled events if there is an event that we may have canceled, which it doesn't look like there are any. We can also look at status. So we can go back and look at our past events. So say that you're putting on an annual event that your organization does every year. You can actually go back and view the information that they used for the event from last year. And you can use that past event information to recreate your new event for this year. But we're going to create a new event, so we're going to scroll up and click on Create Event. And creating an event is actually pretty simple. You'll just fill in all the required information. And so we're going to pretend that we're creating an event for Sugar and Citrus. Now, Sugar and Citrus is a real event that happens at the beginning of the year. It always occurs during Welcome Week, usually that Monday and Tuesday from about 8 in the morning to 10 in the morning. We give away free donuts and orange juice at the bell tower, unless it's raining, in which case you could probably look for the fireplace. And we'll have actual marketing going out for that later this summer, but for now we're going to create a fake event for it, and then we'll create a real event for it later. So we're going to type in Sugar and Citrus, because that's the title of our event. And then for theme, we're probably just going to select social, because we're not really doing anything cultural, we're not fundraising, it's just a fun event for people to come and hang out at. So for description, we're just going to type in something pretty simple. Come enjoy free donuts and orange juice during our annual Sugar and Citrus event. And you could also include the location, you could include the time. And if you have any links to external websites or to your social media or anything like that, you could also include that here. You would just put in the URL and then what you want the text to display, and that's how you get the text and descriptions that you can click on. It'll take you to a different page. But we don't have anything like that, so we're just going to leave it how it is. And then if you're co-hosting this event with any other organizations on campus, you would also want to include them here so that they also have the event show up on their page and as part of their organization. So say that we're hosting this with the Greek Life and Leadership Office. So we're just going to type that in, and you'll see it comes up here, and we're going to select that. And now it will show that we're co-hosting with Greek Life and Leadership. Scrolling down, we're going to choose our start date. So we're just going to choose the first day of classes, which is August 19th. Our start time, will make it 8 a.m. in the morning because this is a morning time event. Our end date will be the same day, and we're going to end at about 10 a.m. Now for event location, you can either have the event show up on a map. So say you're doing an off-campus event, you may want to include the address so that it's easier for people to find it. However, if you're doing an on-campus event, that's not really required. So we're going to say I'd prefer not to show a map, and we're just going to enter our location name. So in this case, we're going to say Bell Tower. Now, if we were doing this for multiple dates, so say we wanted to add the second day of classes, we could add in another date, and then all we would have to do is insert the date and the time again, and the location again, and everything else would remain the same, but we're just going to do it for the one day today. For event details, you'll want to select who you want to be able to see this event. If you were putting on an event for the community, you would want to make sure that you're selecting the public. However, this event is only for students and staff, so we're just going to select students and staff at NumaLink. And so only students and staff that are able to log into NumaLink will be the ones that see this event and will be the only ones that are allowed to attend. If you want people to self-report that they've attended this event, you would just select right here. This isn't required, but sometimes people like to go in go in and add in the events that they've attended while they're at UAFS. For categories, we're going to choose the different categories it shows up as. This is important because if people are filtering events by certain categories, you want to make sure that it's showing up for them. So this isn't really an academic event. It's not art or music or blood drive. It's not quite campus ride or ceremony or community. It is, however, kind of a commuter event. We want commuters to know that they're invited to stop by. It's drop-in. It's free. And we'll see if there's anything else it falls into. It's kind of social. That's about it that it falls into. So then over here for perks, again, people can filter events based on the perks that they get. So we want them to know that they can get free food at this event. So that if they filter events by who is giving away free food, they'll know that this is one of those events. Scrolling down, you're going to see, is there a cost associated? This is completely free, so we're just going to write NA. Is our event open to the public? It is not open to the public. And so it's important to make sure that whatever you say up here in event details and who can see it matches who the event is open to. If up here you say the event can be seen by the public, but scrolling down you say it's not open to the public, that can be misleading and your event will actually be denied for that. So make sure that this matches whatever you select up here in event details. Your EMS confirmation is basically your reservation number. If you haven't reserved your space yet, you'll need to contact Ashley Goodson. You can contact her at scheduling@uafs.edu. She will help you reserve a space for your event to happen at. So this will be either a room on campus, you'll have to reserve the green, or maybe you're reserving the Reynolds room or the fireplace or wherever you're having the event at. Once the event is reserved, you'll receive an EMS confirmation, and it will have the EMS confirmation number that you'll need to enter here. If your event is happening off campus, or maybe it's happening in a space booked by the Student Activities Office, then all you'll have to say is off campus, or maybe booked by the SAO. And so an example of the Student Activities Office booking a room for you would be if you're just tabling and doing a simple little event in the campus center. Everything else will need to go through Ashley Goodson and be reserved. Since we don't have a reservation number for this yet, we're going to put NA. But it's important to know that when you're actually registering your event, you'll need to have the confirmation number there. And then we will have to check that we have read the RSO handbook and understand the SAO and university policies as they relate to RSO events. A copy of the RSO handbook can be found in our office or on our NumaLink page. So now we're going to go to next. So we're going to set who can RSVP. And so you don't have to let anybody RSVP. If you only want certain people invited, then you can select only invitees. And then you would just have to make sure that you send that information to the people you want invited. However, we want everyone to come. So we're going to say no one can RSVP because we don't need this information. Now we're going to add a picture. So normally you would choose your marketing or your flyer. We don't have that yet. So I just went online and found a cute picture of some donuts and orange juice. And then you'll want to adjust the size to show as much of the flyer as you can. So be aware of that as you're creating the sizing for your marketing. So now we're going to click Next. And now we're going to check any additional information. So this event doesn't quite apply to any of this. It's not a housing event or a Greek life event. Even though we are co-hosting it with the Greek Life and Leadership Office, we don't have to select that in this case since we're the ones really hosting it and we're just co-hosting it with them. So we're going to select none of the above. And finally, this is your chance to make sure everything looks correct. This is the date, the location. If you want to double check anything, you can click on Details. If you want to change your marketing again, you can click on Cover Photo. If you decide that you do want to, if you're co-hosting it with somebody and you do need to check one of these categories here, then you can go back and check that. And then allow attendance at this event to be shown on the co-curricular transcript. So another video that you can find will be showing how you can actually track attendance. And in that case, once people check in through your tracking attendance, they can actually see the events that they attended on their co-curricular transcript. And so we'll more than likely be doing that. So we're going to select this option so that when people can go back in and see that they attended the event. And then for our office, because we are student activities, our submission will actually auto-approve. However, it's important to note that other organizations will not auto-approve. Once your event has been registered, it will need to go to the Director of Student Activities and your advisor. Your advisor will have to approve the event before Student Activities can approve it. Once your advisor has approved it and Student Activities has approved or denied the event, you will get a confirmation email letting you know the final decision. If your event was denied, make sure you check the comment section to see what it is you need to fix. It's usually something pretty simple, so it shouldn't take super long. But that's part of why it's important to make sure that you're registering your events as quickly as you can and way before your event in case there are any problems and you do have to go back in and fix anything on your submission. Once you've fixed any problems, your advisor and Student Activities will approve it again. And once it's approved, you'll be able to see your event on the event section. So we're going to go ahead and create this event, and then we're going to go look at it. Once your event has been submitted and approved, you'll be able to see it in your Manage Events tab, and it should also appear in the Events section. However, it may take it a little bit, especially since we just now submitted our event. So you could check back in a couple of days or even just in a couple of hours, and it should appear here as well as on our Student Activities page. We hope this was helpful in figuring out how to register your events. If you have any problems or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll help you. Thank you.